The second physic voice that appears is that of the past. The one where your psyche tells you, I should have done this to avoid receiving the pain I had to face. As you can see, this voice subjects you to a process in which you question your own decisions. I should have been more cautious. I should have realized what was happening to me. I should not have gotten involved with that person. If you notice, in the first table we established the shoulds in very general terms. Here we are going to specify even more what is happening with you, in order to achieve two objectives. First, induce a state of self-awareness in you, and second, help you regain control. On that basis, we will be in a position to develop the new psychic remedy which you will have in your arsenal of antidotes that you are building here. In the table that you can see here, I want you to add it to each should that we established in the previous stage to define the two main types of should that exists. First, the should be. Second, the should do. In the case of should be, here you should put I should have been more cautious. I should have been smarter. Everything that you associate with your personality state, I want you to integrate into this picture. If you were in my office, the question I would ask you is what do you think you should have been to have avoided the damage you have to face? In the case of what I should have done, it is the same. I want you to write down everything that you think you should have done to avoid exposing yourself to the traumatic situation that you experienced. For example, a person might feel foolish because things in his life did not turn out the way he expected them to. In the should do, the idea is for him to write what he believes at this moment in his life that he should have done so that his life would have the result he wanted. He could have written, I should have been friendlier to my boss because that got me fired. If you pay attention, just with this exercise, you are already in a position to define the core of the conflict that you are facing at this stage of your life. In this person's case, his problem was that he doubted his character. A consequence of that could be that in the future, he will let his boss abuse him, so as not to submit to those states of conflict which cause him to lose opportunities in his life, which, as you can see, is nothing more than a spell that his own psyche is subjecting him to. And based on this, you can now see what the goal of the third box is, the why box. I should have been this to get a specific result. In the case of the second should, the same thing happens. You must write in the first box what you should have done to obtain a result that is always associated with avoiding the pain you faced in the past. For example, you could write, I should have put up with my partner's abuse more, or I should have kept quiet more to prevent him from saying hurtful words to me, with which, as you can see, you're transferring the blame for what happened in the situation you faced onto yourself. Precisely, one of the objectives of this part of the treatment is for you to see what your own psyche is like, which subjects you to those states in which you stop trusting your judgment for reasons that in most cases are irrational. As I mentioned, the objective of all this is that by bringing to light what you tell yourself, you can regain control of what happens to you. That's the first step. And once we have induced that state of self-awareness and control, we are now in a position to develop the antidote to counteract this voice from the past that appears associated with these obsessive thoughts that do not leave you alone. If you do an analysis process, you will realize that from everything you have written, a common factor emerges in relation to this voice, and that common factor is lack of control, which is the true psychic agent which is causing this voice that on an unconscious level does not leave you alone, with which you can see that the remedy you are going to develop has to be associated with awakening your ability to let go of situations in which you do not have control. Ultimately, it is about of being able to learn to live with what has no solution, because as you can see, that is what really torments you and causes this psychic voice from the past that does not leave you alone. To develop your psychic remedy, I want you to write in this box that I show you moments in which you have enjoyed the lack of control. I know it's a contradiction, but I am sure that if you induce your psyche, which is what I do all the time in my practice with my clients, you will realize that there have been moments in which life gave you things that you didn't expect, for which you didn't work, and that gave you a lot of happiness. What is the most surprising thing that has happened to you and that has amazed you? Because not expecting it, it causing you a state of joy, of happiness, because you knew that there was some special force acting on you so that you could obtain everything you wanted from the life. As you can see, much of what is done in therapy has to do with this, with helping you induce those states in which you discover moments of joy much more fluidly than if you did it for yourself. In this case, I want you to do it with the help of the frame and your thoughts. For example, in my case, I once found myself in a situation in life in which I had very little money. But it happened that magically, while walking down a street, I found myself throwing away a bill in a parking lot. Imagine the most valuable bill that can exist in your country's currency, and you will realize what I found. For me, it was something surprising, because I didn't expect that to happen to me. It's like I got something out of nothing. It was a kind of message that was telling me that I was going to get everything I wanted. In fact, I still have that bill because it's my lucky one. And since I have it, I cannot deny that I have never been short of money again. If I give you this personal example, it is because I want you yourself to find your life situations in which something of this type has happened to you, that you have received good things in life unexpected without you having controlled them, which, as you can see, is the antidote to lack of control. It's true, bad things happen in life when we don't control everything, but good things also happen. So, based on everything we have worked on, now I want you to induce that voice from your past that tells you it should have been or done, and once you feel that emotional discomfort that that voice induces in you, I want you to immediately think about the moments of surprise in which life has given you a lot of happiness. Now, I want you to maintain that image in which you enjoy the lack of control in life, and with it, little by little, you blur any hint of fear due to the lack of control. As you can see, here we are balancing what happens to you. Therefore, every time you feel that you are losing control, that in your past you should have been or done things to achieve a specific result, I want you to bring to your conscious mind those moments of happiness for not having controlled anything. You will notice that the pain disappears and you feel fulfilled simply by existing without the need to control anything.